Dallas makes a push late, but a sleepy start comes back to haunt the Stars as the Ducks hand them their first loss on home ice, 4-2.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. I said yesterday that a slow start could be the death of the Dallas Stars against the Anaheim Ducks. And that's exactly what took place yesterday. Anaheim wins 4-2 after a really sleepy start for the Stars. A good push late, but too little, too late as the Stars lose their first game at the American Airlines Center this season. We're going to talk about this one. We have to discuss Jason Robertson. Where has he gone? And we can throw Wyatt Johnston into that conversation. We'll also touch on the Lundqvist scratch once again by head coach Pete DeBoer. Plenty to get into on a Tuesday episode of Locked On Stars that is brought to you by Indeed. Still searching for a great candidate for your company? Don't search, just match with Indeed. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, never miss an episode. Shout out to all you everydayers out there of Locked On Stars. And Dallas was not ready to play from the outset last night, which is really unfortunate after coming off a big win on the road against Minnesota within the Central Division. And I mentioned yesterday, could they be a bit hungover in the first period after that big win? And Anaheim took it to them. The Ducks were the better team. They outworked them for the first 20 minutes. They ran the Stars ragged, and it came back to haunt Dallas. They get a goal early from Zellweger, and then Brett Leeson with a nice shot to beat DeSmith late in that first period. And then they get one on the power play in the second period. But Dallas was not ready to play from the hop. And you can't do that against any team in the NHL. I don't care that it's the Ducks. And look, these happen sometimes. You're going to lose games you probably should win. But it was how they lost that was really frustrating. You can't take any team lightly. And they got dominated in the first 10, 15 minutes of the first period. And DeSmith wasn't great in the game, but he wasn't the biggest issue. A couple of turnovers by Dallas lead to the Ducks goals. You would have liked Brendan Smith to play the body there on Leeson, who just went right around him and got a shot away from the right circle and beat DeSmith to the far side. But just a really, really poor start from Dallas. And I don't know how that happens. It's coaching at the end of the day to some degree. You have to have your squad ready to play, and they just sleptwalked their way through the first 10 minutes. And I said that is a real possibility. I really hoped it wouldn't come to fruition, but the first period, I mean, Anaheim was clearly the better team. They're more crisp. And for most of the night, too, Dallas was fighting to beat Dostal, who was brilliant. I mean, Dostal was excellent for Anaheim. Big props to him. The expected goals against was 4.44. It's not like Dallas didn't have their chances, but they all came in the third period when they had to be risky. They had to take chances. They had to throw all five guys at the Ducks, and they cut the lead to one. I mean, a beautiful goal for Matt Duchene to cut the lead to one, but then Anaheim, a few moments later, got the insurance tally. It was a great push, and they got better as the game wore along. But once again, I'm coming on here talking about a sleepy start for Dallas. I'm not measuring the Dallas Stars based off a great push in the third period against the Ducks, right? I can't take a lot of moral victories out of this one. Tyler Seguin was the best Dallas Star. Should have had a hat trick in the game. Don't know what the kind of spell Anaheim has on Segi, but man, he was so damn good tonight. He ended up with an assist on the Duchesne goal. Would love to see how many shots he had. He probably had a half dozen shot attempts. He ends up with what he ended up with in terms of a shot. He ended up with 3 shots. He was all over the place, making things happen. Again, the Duchesne line is initiating everything. DeBoer's having to shuffle up lines in the second period. We saw Jason Robertson on the fourth line. We're going to get to him in just a moment. We saw Johnston reunite with Robo and Dodonov. We saw Bork, who had a really great game. Maverick Bork had himself a good night, which is a good sign. Maybe that's a moral victory we can take out of it, but probably a game where you would expect him to be a bit more noticeable. Anaheim's young, not a huge physical team, more of a skating game, and that really benefited Maverick Bork last night. Stars ended up with 28 scoring chances at 5-on-5, and yes, they dominated and controlled play in the third period, as you would expect down 3 goals. Anaheim's just trying to sit and take away basically all the high danger looks, and credit to the Ducks. They played a very good game. They deserved to win last night, and they got the job done. Held on to a lead. They got a bit anxious, but they get the big goal from Lacombe, and they finish off the Stars. They finish off a good team that wasn't ready to play. Dallas just wasn't ready to play, and that is the frustrating part. And I said it yesterday, Dallas is the better team. Slow start, perhaps, but the slow start really came back to haunt them because they gave up 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of the hockey game. The first one was a big knuckle puck. Smith couldn't do much. Look, I would have liked to see Otter play. Just let him play. He's played so good this season. I know he's had a few duds, but just ride him. And I know you want to rest him, but these games matter for standings. And that's where it really comes back to be a buzzkill after winning 3 straight. You know, it's a chance to get within 8 points of Winnipeg, who can't be slowed down right now. And you let this one slip through your hands, and you get handed your first loss at the American Airlines Center this season. It's not good enough. It really isn't. The effort was not good enough, and they looked good in the final 2 periods. Congrats. You looked good against a team you're better than. I mean, but a 3-0 lead, it's like, it's too big of a hill to climb, and Dostal's great. I mentioned him yesterday. He's faced a lot of shots. His numbers are great, and he proved that tonight. He made a couple of excellent saves. A good night for him. You know, Lindell got on the board early in that first period. It's a beautiful little passing play set up by Bork and Ben, and then the Seguin line again. I mean, they keep doing it, which is the biggest redundancy of this season so far. I don't know. And unfortunately, it's not like you can break up those 3, because it seems like you don't get that out of the individuals of Seguin, Marchment, if you break them up. It's not like DeBoer can even spread the wealth a little bit with that line. It's just those 3 are it. And the fourth line was good. Don't want to throw them under the bus. Beck, Bork, Steele, really, really strong nights. Unfortunately, when Dallas is down 3, you got to play your big guns, and they did get rewarded with with some ice time early in the first, but as it got close, he had to throw the big guns out there, which is unfortunate because they weren't very good. I mean, outside Duchesne line, I mean, your big guns weren't all that great. And, I thought the Duchesne line was good, and your second best line was the fourth line with Steele and Beck and Bork. And, Bork got rewarded, got to play with Jamie and Stanky at one point, and they had a little something. And, it was brewing. If you look at scoring chances, Duchesne, I mean, look, 13 scoring chances, 0 against for that line. The next closest was Ben, Bork, and Stankoven, and they had 8. So, I mean, look at that. Your top line, 0 scoring chances in the game. And they didn't play a ton because they got broken up after the first period. But, I mean, this has sort of been the story for a lot of it. Just not a lot of productivity from your big guys. And that sort of segues us into this next segment. So we might as well get to it. Put the milk carton out on Jason Robertson. And we can start to add Wyatt Johnston to this list too. We'll discuss more in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. And that is according to a recent Indeed survey. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/locked on. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/locked on. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire. You need Indeed. Look, Jason Robertson has been a ghost. We're not seeing a whole lot from 21. And it would be one thing if he's getting looks, he looks engaged, he's creating chances for himself and others, but we're not even seeing that. There's a whole lot of nothing from Jason Robertson. And that may be harsh, but 3 points in your last 10 games, just a goal. You got to have more out of Robo. You just have to if this team wants to get anywhere with the way they're constructed right now. You're not getting anything from Robertson. It has been a real dry spell. And he wasn't great defensively on that goal by Lacombe in tight. Won't put a lot of that on him, but it wasn't great. But just the thing that worries me, I guess, about Jason is it feels like he relies on a lot of others to do things in order for him to get going. And that's not necessarily something I would have said about him the last few years. I feel like he's usually really good at creating, space for himself and getting his shot away. We're just not seeing that. And I don't know if it's the injury, perhaps. Maybe he's not playing 100%. It just doesn't feel like he has the jump. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion on 21. Because it's getting pretty poor. It's just there wasn't a whole lot. Like, we're not even seeing him get looks. And, for a guy that usually has a lot of shots, if you look at the shots on goal this season, he's got 40 in 16 games, which is third on the team, but only 4 goals to show for it. And look, it's not all on him. I mean, Roope, he had some life last night. He had some life. Had the breakaway. Unfortunately, didn't score. He could use one to go. Roope's been on a bit of a spell too. He's got a couple of assists in his last 5. I mean, Wyatt Johnston, a goal in the last 12, and that's it. That's it from Wyatt. You all know I love him. And I was hyping this kid up all off season, and it's not happening right now. And look, the training camp BS is out the window now. I'm sorry. We're 17 games into this thing. It's not you're trying to find your rhythm. You're just not being productive at all. And look, that is your top line, what you expected to be your top line this season. 24, 21, and 53. And they're being outplayed by Matt Duchene and Tyler Seguin. Being outplayed consistently, night in, night out. I honestly can't recall a performance from either one of those three. Nothing sticks out to me about their season. Nothing. And that's worrisome. Seguin's played 12 games. He's got 7 apples, 7 goals. Duchene's got 10 Genos now, the first one to double digits. Robertson, Hintz, and Johnston have combined for 12 goals, which is almost mind-boggling to me. And it's a part of the reason, why Dallas finds himself pretty a good chunk behind, Winnipeg. And it's early, of course, but the Thanksgiving break's coming right around the corner, and they have a comfortable position. But it was a stinky one last night. It was stinky after winning 3. And Robo is just a ghost. I don't know how else to explain it. You're just not really getting anything from him. And as I said, you're not even seeing it. Like, there's not even the juice, the energy in his game where he's getting a ton of look. It's not like he's snake bitten. It's not even getting an opportunity. It feels like on most nights. And it's nice to have the flashes from Roope. Oh, but it's maybe it's just going to be one of those years for Dallas. Maybe it's just going to take a while to get it into gear. I hope that's the case. And as I said a few days ago, it gives me hope that Dallas, has been scoring a lot, at least recently, without them. That gives me some hope. But at some point, your best players have to start scoring, or at least chipping in. Just not really chipping in at all. We're getting a lot from Dutchy, Segi, and Mush consistently, outplaying every other trio. And maybe I should be throwing everybody other than that line out, besides the fourth line, because the fourth line has done their job. I don't know what else more you can ask at it. And of course, you want more goals from a fourth line. You can always take more. But look, that's not necessarily what they're being paid to do. Robo's paid to chunk them home. And he's got to be better because he's a ghost. And, Wyatt as well has been real quiet. He's been very quiet. I'd love to see more out of him. I think it's a little different than Robo. If you look at some of the advanced numbers, like Johnston, I think has been a bit unlucky this season. If you go to the 5-on-5 expected goals, Johnston's at 2.9. Robo's just 1.99. I mean, that's behind Dodonov. It's behind Ben. Like he's 8th at expected goals at 5-on-5. If you go to all situations, Sagan leads the way. And, Robo 4.18 behind Marchment, behind Duchesne, behind Stanky. He's just ahead of Dodonov, You're going to need a lot more out of these guys moving forward. And again, this isn't just based off last night's game against Anaheim. This has been slowly building, and you can only keep saying, oh, they're going to get it together. They're going to find out. They're going to figure it out. I would expect some real frustration from Pete DeBoer. I think he's getting fed up. I think he has to answer the bell a bit too. I think some of it's on him. He's got to find a way to get this team just figured out. Duchesne said after the loss, we didn't have the intensity level we needed to win an NHL hockey game tonight. Amen, Dutchie. Yeah, you should throw that around the room because I thought his intensity was pretty good. But yes, as a group, not good enough at all. Not good enough at all. All righty. Let's discuss the Lundqvist scratch again. I hope this doesn't become a theme and a discussion topic the rest of the way. Hopefully we just have to talk about this one time and we can move on. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Players and stats that you can select can include Nathan McKinnon more than half a goal, Evander Kane more than 1.5 hits. You can get in on football, soccer, basketball, you name it, they have it on Prize Picks. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. So Nils Lundqvist was scratched for second consecutive nights, and I don't think this is going to be a regular occurrence. I understand why they kept him out of the lineup. They liked what they saw out of Dumba in the game against Minnesota, but what irks me is this would have been a style of game that really suited Nils Lundqvist. And you can certainly make the argument it was a good spot to take him out of the lineup in Minnesota, team that's really physical. They were down a few men. They were going to be a bit heavier and try to take it to him physically. The Wild were. So Dumba would have been a nice addition. In this game, I would have liked to see Lundqvist back in the lineup. This was a skating game. This seemed like a contest that would have really suited him. And as I've said before, I think Lundqvist has had a fantastic year. He hasn't done anything that has prompted him to be taken out of the lineup. And I know DeBoer wants to get everybody involved. But at some point, can we stop playing charity? And look, I'm that's a harsh word, maybe. It is November. But come on. Let's play your best. Let's play your best 6. Let's play your best lineup. And yes, I thought Dumb had a great game in Minnesota. Thought he played well. But still, I think Lundqvist is an upgrade. I do. I think Lundqvist is an upgrade. And this sort of goes back to my point with Jake. Like, get Jake into a rhythm. And he'll probably start against San Jose, but Jake had been grooving. He hadn't been tested a whole lot because of the 7-2 games. It's not like he was working a ton. And yes, it may pay down the line. Pay off. But Dallas is by no means a lock for the postseason right now. Okay. I don't see a whole lot of teams that are going to necessarily push them out right now. Colorado, they're slowly getting back in the mix. They're just 10-9. Stars still have 2 games in hand on them. And it's not all the sky's not falling. But just play your best lineup. I mean, Lundqvist is one of your best defensemen this year. I don't see why you take him out. I got it for Minnesota, but in this one, it does not make a whole lot of sense for me. Yeah, I'm almost speechless tonight because I'm befuddled. Because it just seems like, you hear a lot from DeWar. We're going to play the guys or help us win games. And this one felt like, and look, again, I'll preface this. Lundqvist not being in the lineup was not the reason the Stars lost last night. That's very low. It's very low on the list of things of why Dallas was beat yesterday. But put your best foot forward, is how I'll put it. Why not put your best foot forward and your best 18 out there? Just put your best 18 out there. And it wasn't a great night from a lot of different players. Even though they pushed towards the end. But again, I can't put a lot of stock in that. Like, you're down 3 to Anaheim. Yeah, you should control the game and dominate them. And I guess that's a good thing. It's like, okay, we did see that. But there's just, Niels has got to be in there. Like, come on. And I know he hasn't put up a lot of offense. They want that out of him. They want more offense out of him. He just has a helper in 14 games. But it's not like you're getting that from Dumba, right? And, I know Smith is, he's chipped in recently. He's got 3 points in 8 games. He's been fine. But Niels Lundqvist is a more dynamic player. Come on. Niels Lundqvist is a more dynamic player. He's an upgrade from Smith. We can see eye to eye on that. And I know Smith brings a different type of game and all that. Different players, but that's where I stand. That's where I stand. I'm done. I'm done tonight. Okay. Please be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment below, let your frustrations out. Felt like I was going to have a positive episode today, and got more depressed as the 30 minutes elapsed. But that's how it goes sometimes. That's what the Dallas Stars do to you. We're going to have a fantastic night. We're going to get some good sleep, wake up, recharge, feeling good heading in to San Jose on Wednesday. Because if they get a sleepy start again, I hope San Jose beats them. Hope they embarrass them. Maybe that'll wake them up. I really don't mean that. I don't want them to be embarrassed. Have a wonderful Tuesday, Stars fans. Have a wonderful Tuesday. I hope your mood will not be affected by the outcome of last night's hockey game. I really do. We'll see you again on a Wednesday episode We'll prepare you for the Sharks Celebrinis coming to town, baby. Should be a good one. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm done. So long, Stars fans.